to everybody here. It is quite simply the Banjo Bowl. And our thanks to Savannah Ginter for setting the scene with her banjo picking skills as we get set for the duel of two Western rivals again, meeting in the Labor Day Classic last Sunday, Lapo, and it was a close one. Riders won by 4. Well, let's talk about the big duo at quarterback again, starting with Zach Collaros.
Zach Collaros is undefeated in the Banjo Bowl for his career. Now, the Bombers are 8-9 in Banjo Bowl. Their last 9 Banjo Bowls, their only loss was when Zach Collaros was the starter in 2018. Find that very strange. And then the other side of the field, Trevor Harris, a TD pass today will give him 200 career TDs. He's 18-8 as a starter in Sask, trying to sweep the Bombers for the first time since 2018.
Well, it was a big win for Corey Mays last week at the Labor Day Classic. The Riders stay on top of the CFL at 9-2. Best start for them since 1970. For Mike O'Shea, this game's been a barometer for Winnipeg's dominance in recent years. They've won 5 straight Banjo Bowls en route to 5 straight West Division titles. They've also won 8 of their last 9. Now, Saskatchewan won the toss. They have deferred, so they're going to put the ball in the hands of Zach Collaros first. Trey Vavel and Michael Chris Ike are back to receive it. 2025 Banjo Bowl underway off the foot of Brett Lother and comes down for Vavel at the 20. And gets just up across the 32 for Zach Collaros. As Lapo mentioned, last time Saskatchewan won here, he was the Riders quarterback. He's won 5 of these in a row.
Yeah, and then one of the best things that Zach did last week, he just stayed in that football game. They overcame some hits, had a couple of shots downfield late in the game, was able to hit some deep plays. They've got to get going. They got to protect the quarterback better for them to have any success tonight. 5 sacks given up last week.
Last Sunday, they opened up a 10-point lead before the Riders came back. Riders led by 14 in the 4th quarter before the Bombers came back. Nearly tied it at the end. Brady Oliveira running on the first play. He had only 5 carries for 24 yards, his least productive game last week in Regina.
Watching this at the point of attack. This is going to be a little tight zone play. You're going to get a little push and then work to this level and then work up. Good start of this. Let's make sure we get him involved early. And you can see Micah Vanderpool getting a little bit of a push on the nose guard to create that lane. Give Brady a good run to start the game.
Yeah, he wants the ball more. He made that clear. They got a first down on that carry. Going right back to number 20, Brady Oliveira, as he pulls his way up to about the 52-53 as we take a look at that Winnipeg offense.
Micah Vanderpool gets his 5th start. He's a game-time decision at left guard, going over for Gabe Wallace, who is down. And we just started talking about Brady Oliveira, 5 carries, 24 yards. The Bombers, everybody in Bomberland wanted to see last year's MOP get more touches in the football game. That's Jason Hogan's job today. Make sure, the Saskatchewan Roughriders last week said, hey, we're going to blitz you. We're going to send extra pressures. You still got to find a way to get your most productive player the football.
Nick Dembski, Ontario Wilson in motion in behind Zach Collaros, who is throwing to the right and nearly intercepted right around the Rider 50. What a chance there for C.J. Rivas for a big turnover to start this game.
C.J. Rivas is a great football player. This is going to be just a nice, quick little 3-step route, and you're going to try to read number 1, C.J. Rivas. You watch Rivas when he shows up in the screen. He's just baiting and waiting as Zach tries to throw that in there. Almost makes the play an interception. That's one thing Zach talked about, that these guys cover ground so well in the defensive backfield. Their secondary is so good playing in so much zone coverage.
So that's it for the Bomber. First possession, Jamison Sheehan standing at his 38. Mario Alford and Dante Myers will be back to return this punt as Sheehan sends it to the left and Myers inside the Rider 5. Cuts it up. Not a bad return as he gets up to the 20. For Trevor Harris now within 1,000 yards, or within 100, I should say, of going to 3,000 this season again. Riders at 9-2 coming in with the ball when we come back. Trevor Harris in his 13th season and climbing the ladder, not only in yardage, Lapo, but just needs 1 touchdown pass to reach the 200 club.
Amazing number to go to 200 touchdowns. And the thing I love about watching him this season is how well he's thrown the deep ball. lead the CFL in deep, explosive pass plays. The Saskatchewan Roughriders has been able to keep this team on the field, but he loves taking the deep shots downfield.
Threw for only 219 yards and 1 touchdown last week in their Labor Day Classic victory because they ran so well with the likes of A.J. Ouellette, but a short carry there. Ouellette with 89 yards rushing and a touchdown last week.
And for the season, with the biggest thing, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And you always talk about Trevor Harris. The hardest part of going against him if you're a team is you know that he's going to create first downs because he makes great decisions with the football. And he's always going to make sure you're in good situations. Last week, they only had 4 second and 7+ situations. So easy to convert when you're in great manageable field positions.
And the main thing, an 8-2 record as a starter this year. Second and long, throwing to the left. It is caught. Coming back to the football is Joe Robustelli. Needed to get up to the 30 for a first down. He is shy. We got a 3rd down coming up here for the Riders.
Robustelli getting a nice, so you're going to have a curl and then an 8-yard in-raking route. And what you try to do is you read the underneath coverage. If the guy expands too much, you cut right underneath it and try to get the throw. Too low of a zone player doesn't give him the opportunity for the first down.
Babel back for the return. It is Joe Couch, the Rider punter, standing inside his 15. A 2-and-out for Saskatchewan's offense in their opening possession. Sending this one and pushing Babel back inside the Bomber 25. Lost the football and just narrowly recovers that with some heat coming in. And so it is Bomber football. And there he is, Pokey Wilson. He tried out with the New York Jets, recently let go, and back to the Blue Bombers, where he was one of their top receivers, their top rookie in 24.
You think about it, you lose Dalton Schoen, and all of a sudden Pokey Wilson is able to come in. Really enjoyed him, watching him last year. Early in the season, if you remember, Rod, he had a 13-catch game against the Calgary Stampeders, 201 yards and a TD. Explosive, high points of football, can see, really sees zone and man and able to know the difference of where he's going to sit in zone plays.
Claris rolling right, short pass Nick Dembski, and he is caught in behind by Roland Milligan and pushed out of bounds for a loss and a 2nd and long coming up against that Saskatchewan defense.
Malik Scoop Carney was a force last week, tied with 6 sacks, first on the team, had 2 last week. They moved him around defensively. You'll see him in different spots today. Hey, I'm telling you, watch this guy every play. He is the disruptor on defense. C.J. Revis, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. And Tavon Campbell, we don't use this term often, Rod. Pick 2, crucial point last week, sealed the win. Had a great talk with him about his career and how much he enjoys playing in Saskatchewan.
A loss of 2 on that completion to Dembski. So down to the 2nd and long, it is caught as the Bombers say welcome back Pokey Wilson with his first catch in 2025 and a first down for Winnipeg.
Wilson on a deep out-breaking route. Watch him put his foot in the ground, how quickly he speed cuts, gets to the sideline. Campbell's in a position where he's too high, breaks it off. Zach gets a great read on the corner running underneath, just throws it out, lets him run underneath the ball. He
had 71 catches for over 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns last season. Their leading receiver in their Grey Cup loss to the Argos last year, he had 5 for 99. 1st and 10 up at their 44. Back to Brady Oliveira. And his 3rd carry of this young game, and doesn't get much there. They have him stuffed up after a couple of yards. 2nd and long again for Winnipeg. Yeah, you can see, as they keep trying to establish Brady Oliveira this game, you can see it's happening a little bit more early in this game. Very hard with how many players. You got Saskatchewan, the best defense in the CFL against the run. They got a lot of players at the line of scrimmage. That's why you keep seeing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, a lot of receivers close to the line of scrimmage. They're trying to block and help block C.J. Revis, and some of these athletic linebackers are close to the ball. You could really see the Riders last week wanting to make sure Oliveira wasn't a big part of that offense. And defense rules here for Saskatchewan. Again, they had 5 sacks of Collaros last week. Malik Carney had 2 of them. He is coming in along with Shane Ray. And what a season Carney is having on that Saskatchewan defensive line that has been dominant this year. Just watch Kolinkowski for a second. Watch what happens. He's the center. He gets thrown. Watch right there, Malik.
gets a good opportunity to move him inside. That's what I was talking about. Putting your defensive end aligned over the center is a mismatch because you have one of your best athletes. Very good move by them, and then the rest of the cavalry comes in to get the sack. Really good scheme by the defensive staff of the Riders.
Carney with the 7th sack, leading the way of the team that leads the CFL in quarterback sack. So they have to punt again. Rider football. Dante Myers pushed out of bounds in a short return. Ethan Ball is there. Malik Carney, big day in the Labor Day Classic, starting it well here as well. Down goes Caleres. Scoreless tie in the Banjo Bowl in Winnipeg.
Does this look familiar from last week? The leading sacking team in the CFL. Micah Johnson throws the center out of the way to get a sack. C.J. Revis is involved in here on this one. There's Malik Carney making the right guard miss last week. And a little bit of twist. Quarterback has nowhere to go. One of the best things, Ali Sad gets that one. They do a great job of pressuring every play.
First down now, and it's back to A.J. Ouellette. And a good carry for him as he gets it up to the 35, about a yard shy of a first down. Have a look at that Rider offense, Lapo.
Jamarcus Hardrick comes fan favorite back to Winnipeg. First banjo since he left. Are the Rider fans in the end zone? Are there any of them anywhere? Do we get a jump into the crowd? Tommy Neal. 3 catches, 86 yards, huge touchdown last week. Been in the rest of 8 games, really good football player in this system.
Gain of 9, A.J. Ouellette, and up to the 35 and a 2nd and 1 here for Saskatchewan. Early on in this Banjo Bowl, short yardage. Tommy Stevens is in at quarterback for the Riders. Keeps it left side, easily has that yard, and a first down for Saskatchewan in their second possession as we take a look at that Winnipeg defense.
Leading knockdown player in the Canadian Football League, Willie Jeffers. You better have a plan for him when you get the ball to your hands quickly. Retta Cramby drops back into the Sam position after playing a couple of games at free safety and missing a couple games in the injury. And Evan Holm, 4th-year player, tied for first in the CFL for 4 interceptions. He's having a great year. Just does a great job at that field halfback spot where you got to cover a lot of ground.
Up close to the 43 of the Riders with the football on a first down now, or 38, excuse me. It's Ouellette. And he spins, he breaks a tackle, he's still at his feet. Gets it around the 43, and that hard-earned pickup, about 5 yards for Ouellette on that carry.
You want quarterback, you really want guys who've got the ability to, once they hit the hole, there's good patience, then he bounces it back outside, and you can see right there he's got the ability. Would-be can't make the tackle. You want guys who have strong lower bodies like AJ does that can make you miss. Lost his contact lens, Rod. Look at that. All right, we can't throw to him for 2 plays. Still hand it off to him, right?
Impressive he was able to find it. Getting knocked down in a pile of people.
Probably got some of the little black pellets in it though.
Harris back to throw in the 2nd down, and there's good coverage. It's intercepted. Picked up by the strong side linebacker Retta Cramby. Back in the lineup. He missed the Labor Day Classic. First turnover early on. And big for Winnipeg, -8 in the turnover ratio this season so far. They have the football. Thanks to Cramby at their 35.
What are free safeties great at? They're great at having range. Retta Cramby's over here. And then he recognizes, as Trevor starts to look to the left of the field, he notices, hey, his eyes are going to the left. I'm going to get off my hash mark. If you can see him sitting right on that hash, you can watch him running all the way across the field and gets in a position to make the play over the top of Robustelli. That's what you need from your free safety. Range and can run and catch the ball in the air. Retta Cramby.
First interception of the season, Lapo, for Cramby. So running the football are the Bombers in that first down play. Back to Brady Oliveira. And a short pickup there.
Bombers definitely trying to establish the run, get Brady some touches. The one thing you do have to worry about, I know you want your best player to get the football, but you are facing a team that is the best in the CFL against the run. You have Zach Caleres. You have to mix up what you're doing because it's hard to live in this 2nd and 9 world all game against a team that's going to lead the CFL in sacks. So they got to make sure they're productive on first down.
He was coming off his most productive game week before in Montreal, 137. So throwing here in second. Long it is caught. Now Dembski already had a catch for -2, positive yardage there, but he had already extended his streak. 83 straight games now with at least one catch.
Dembski's saying, hold my drink to Pookie Wilson, as it's the exact same play that Wilson got. Get some depth, run to the sideline. If the corner runs underneath, you can throw it outside to Dembski. Good speed, good vertical stem by Dembski. What that means is vertical presence, and then falls out to the flat. Zach throw a great ball.
Up to the 47, complete now to Ontario Wilson. Pokey Wilson has it down at the Rider 35, and another big first down for Winnipeg.
A little bit of play action here. So you're going to get a vertical presence, and then you're going to slip behind that player. The first player is clearing out. The second player is going to just kind of be in the wake. If you can see Wilson, he's going to sit in that dead area right behind the linebackers in Saskatchewan zone there. But great clear out on the outside, the inside receiver to give Wilson, and a great throw by Zach.
And a gain of 29. Wilson now, his first game back with the Bombers, 2 catches for 48. In business now. Inside the 35, running back to Oliveira. Works it down to about the 30. On that carry, as they're certainly giving him more touches right now. Oliveira, already he has as many runs as he did all game in the Labor Day Classic last Sunday.
And you can see a lot of personnel coming in and out here. The Bombers are trying to handle. Last week, the Riders just kept blitzing and blitzing. You see them trying to say, hey, listen, if you're going to blitz people off the edge, we're going to have a fullback in the game. We're going to have a tight end in the game. So if you try to outnumber us, we're still going to get Brady Oliveira touches.
Last week, it was a 34-30 final. There were no points scored in the first quarter. Still scoreless here. Winnipeg starting to press. More pressure in Collaros. He does get rid of it. Oliveira makes something out of that. And close to a first down as they got the heat again, the Riders did on Zach Collaros.
Sometimes pass rush is
incomplete pass, Lapo.
Sometimes it's all about just denting the pocket. If you watch Micah right here, Micah Johnson, you put him in one-on-one, so the center snaps the ball, he spins, and now there's the pressure Zach feels. Quarterbacks want a pocket to throw from. The guards in the center are responsible for the depth. They got to hold the depth so he can take that drop and throw the football.
And you see it did hit the turf just as Oliveira was catching it. No catch, so field goal try for Sergio Castillo from the 39 out. And splits those uprights perfectly. Just under 3 minutes to go until quarter time, so we don't wait as long for the first points of this game. They belong to Winnipeg, a 3-0 lead in the Banjo Bowl. Last week's Labor Day Classic came down to this at the end of the game. Winnipeg trying to tie it, and a 2-point try after a touchdown. Intercepted by Tavon Campbell, who ends up with the pick 2 to seal the deal. Back in Saskatchewan. Let's head to Britt Dort.
Yeah, and Rod, he told me he's actually still upset it doesn't count as a pick 6, but he'll take the pick 2. He is really enjoying his time back in the CFL. He has spent the last 6 seasons down south in the NFL. Now, one of the reasons for his return to this league, Corey Mace, who he actually knows from his first stint in the CFL. He was drafted by Calgary. Corey Mace was his teammate. He said back then he even already seemed like a coach to him. Now, they actually share an agent. So when Campbell's agent called him and said, hey, remember Corey Mace? He said, of course. Well, Corey Mace then got on the phone with him and said, come back to the CFL. We have an opportunity for you. He told us, I had to think about it. I wasn't sure I was in the right shape to continue my football career, but guys, I think it's working out for him so far.
Working out well. Thank you, Britt. Play action pass here for Trevor Harris to start things off. And tipped, and nearly another interception. The Bombers already have one. And that one coming in. Dexter Lawson. But Tavon Campbell from Scarborough, Ontario, and played at the University of Regina, played for the Rams before going into the CFL with Calgary, and then some time with Saskatchewan, and then the NFL.
Great talking with them this week. One of the interesting things, he was in the Canadian Football League as a starting corner before the hashes were changed. That was a great conversation. He's like, I see so many more routes now. I used to just see digs and hitches. Now I'm seeing so much more. I love that the hashes are tighter inside. Makes my job harder.
Making it harder for Harris. That crowd really noisy here at Princess Auto Stadium. What a hurdle there by A.J. Ouellette. Ouellette in the leap on the second down and long and gets close to a first down. He's up near the 50. Dexter Lawson was arguing about the spot of the football. It's right just ahead of the 49.
Great understanding of where you are in the field. Great leaping ability. Puts you in that 3rd-and-1 situation so you can continue with the quarterback wedge. Watch this. We got to get a hurdle team in the CFL. We got so many hurdlers this year.
Yeah. We've had a bunch of.
Right?
I was going to say, we got before the end of the year, I still am going to lobby for that.
You were a hurdler back in the day.
Oh, yeah. The credit card hurdler. That's as high as I could get. Tommy Stevens on the carry.
You know, Tavon Campbell, back to tell one more story about Tavon Campbell. You know, I asked him what was different. What did you learn from the NFL? And he talked really about the process of things. It's like, I just played with my speed, my athletic ability. I really had to learn, you know, situational football. What's happening? What's the offense trying to do on this particular down and distance? What have I seen on film? It was really interesting to hear how he's grown as a player, and that's what he's trying to bring to this Riders secondary now.
As Campbell looks on, his teammate A.J. Ouellette got them close. Tommy Stevens got the first down. They're at their own 52. They're down by 3 after that Sergio Castillo field goal. Late, final minute, first quarter. The fake to Ouellette. The time for Harris, knocked away at the line of scrimmage. And a flag comes out. And celebrating in the Banjo Bowl, the guy who has the most knockdowns in the CFL all time in this season, Willie Jefferson, getting those paws up again on Trevor Harris.
Knockdown central.
Illegal balk, hands to the face, defense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
As announced by referee Tom Valesi against the defense, hands to the face, and so that knockdown's all for naught. Ends up being a big penalty going the Riders' way down to the Winnipeg 48.
Yeah, what you can't do when you're rushing the passer, you don't have the ability. You don't have the ability to put your hands on the face mask. It's a safety thing. You're just not allowed to do that. Woodby ended up putting his hands up into the face mask. That's going to be a penalty every time from a player safety standpoint.
First down, Ouellette. Breaking tackles, keeps going. A.J. Ouellette trying to cut it back. Still another great pickup for Ouellette, as mentioned, at 89 yards on the ground in a big game last week in Regina, and a good first quarter for number 45.
Vision is one of the most important things for a running back. As he recognizes color in his hole, he winds it all the way back. Some of the defenders had lost contain. He now flips the field because there's nobody to contain. Big game, jumping outside for A.J. Ouellette.
Gain of 18, he has 4 carries for 34 yards. Clock ticking down. This could be the final play of the first quarter. Riders now in scoring position. On the toss, Mario Anderson with a couple of touchdowns running, and the helmet falling off his tackler, Kyrie Wilson. But Anderson was quite a story with only 3 carries, 2 of them going for TDs last week in that victory over the Bombers. Saskatchewan trails through the first 15, but they're on the verge of changing that. Getting close. Another great tradition in the history of the Riders and the Bombers, the Banjo Bowl, through one quarter here in Winnipeg. The second straight week, it's a low-scoring start between the Riders and the Bombers through a quarter of the Banjo Bowl and a 3-0 Winnipeg lead. And those numbers pretty close, as you might expect, the way these teams have been.
Here's one of the reasons Saskatchewan Roughriders is so dangerous as a football team. They only got 16 yards passing right now, but they got over 45 yards rushing. They do a good job running the football, second in the Canadian Football League. So this is a team that, hey, if they're going to take away the pass game, we've got the ability to run the football.
One of the big differences, certainly on offense, Lapo, last week is Saskatchewan's ability to run the football, and Winnipeg really choosing not to. Only 5 carries for Brady Oliveira. A.J. Ouellette had a busier Labor Day Classic and a good start in this one. Oliveira's had 5 carries already as Winnipeg is trying to change things and get that running game going. But it's Rider football. Down 3 to start the second quarter and down to the Winnipeg 25-yard line for Trevor Harris as the crowd here at Princess Auto Stadium gets louder. Harris to the right, open, caught. Keyshawn Johnson, first catch of this game, and a first down for Saskatchewan inside the 15.
I always call this is the Canadian Football League's favorite route. You're going to run that guy on an under, and if that guy chases, then you're going to throw this throw on the sideline. You can go ahead and run it now. Watch, vertical presence, snap out. Once the corner steps inside, you can get the throw on the outside. Beautiful throw to Keyshawn Johnson.
Last week at 5 catches for 45 yards. He leads the Riders in yardage coming in at 839. Add that total to it as well at a 1st and 10. Harris again, handing off. Mario Anderson, another carry for him. His second of this ball game, as mentioned. He only had 3 carries last week in relief of A.J. Ouellette, and 2 of them went for touchdowns.
Great flexibility to be able to have a second running back on the roster. Have a guy who, an American running back on the roster, should say. He looked different, Rob. When he had a couple of carries, he just looked quicker and faster. It's one of those guys like, I'm not getting a lot of carries. You give me a carry, I'm going to get extra yards. I'll give you all the effort I got.
Yeah, and Ouellette brings the thunder. We know that. He brought a bit of lightning, too. After contact, Anderson, good run for touchdown. You see Ouellette back in there beside Trevor Harris now. Off to the left, caught. Oh, and dropped it. Joe had it. Is that a fumble? Kyrie Wilson recovers it. Looked like a catch by a Joe. Ball came out, and Wilson hopped on it. And already a turnover for the Bombers in this game. On the pick by Cramdy, do they have another one committed by Saskatchewan there?
Let's go!
Winnipeg football. The fumble by a Joe.
You always talk to your defensive players. When the ball is on the ground, you go recover it. It doesn't matter because you never know what's going to happen. That's a completion. Steps are taken, so now it turns into a fumble. You're not sure of it. Always go recover the football immediately. So you're always coaching. Every time in practice, ball bounces on the ground, whether it's incomplete or not, you go chase the ball and bring it down.
Well, the Bomber offense is on the field, but this is under review. Was that a catch and a fumble, or was it an incomplete pass?
After review by the replay center, the pass is incomplete.
Okay.
Be 3rd down.
So not another turnover committed by the Riders, and the faithful here in Winnipeg didn't like that.
So in slow motion, when you slow that down, obviously he didn't have, I guess they're saying he did not have control and did not take enough steps to be controlled. Let's watch it in regular speed and see what it looks like. So Trevor takes the underneath throw right here. Yeah, it didn't look like when you watch it regular speed, it didn't have control long enough to make that a completion. Huge save for the Riders.
So instead of a turnover, Saskatchewan ball, and they'll get a chance to put some points on the board. Brett Lawther, who was 1 for 1 in field goals, had a missed extra point last week in the Labor Day Classic. We'll see Joe Couch put this one down at the Winnipeg 20 and a chance to tie this ball game. From the right hash for the veteran Lawther. No problem at all. Tie ball game. Field goal by Lawther after the field goal by Castillo. Princess Auto Stadium. Banjo Bowl Saturday on TSN. We'll be back. There is Murray Clark, the side judge for today's game. Congratulations to him. This is game number 600 in the CFL. Lapo, he started officiating games in 1992. Top 3 all-time. He's worked 10 Grey Cups. What a career, and it's still going.
Yeah, great career for Murray. Congratulations on 600. I apologize for screaming and hollering at you from 2010, 2012 when you were a referee, but congratulations. Great career.
Still blistering from those rebukes from Lapo back in days as head coach here in Winnipeg. From the 40, 3-3 tie, Winnipeg football. Brady Oliveira putting that head down and pushing pushing his way through. With a lot of grit, as we've seen from number 20, a lot to pick up 5 and set up a second down.
Kolinkowski, center, does a really good job creating a little bit of space for Brady. Good patience by Brady, bounces it outside, getting forward, trying to get yourself in good situations. This is what they weren't in last week. They didn't have a lot of second and shorts. They were in second and extra all game. This puts them in manageable positions.
6 carries, 32 yards now. He's exceeded what he did last week in the Labor Day Classic, and he's getting more here.
And this is my point right here. This big run right here, this run doesn't happen last week. Why? Because they never had 2nd and 3. So if you want your tailback to touch the football, you got to be productive as an offense on 1st down. You can see this is just a nice, easy downhill run, and can go fall forward for 3 yards. That's what they got to continue to do, because if you don't get a lot of football plays, your tailback's not happy, your receivers aren't happy, nobody's happy. So they got to keep staying on the field, get manageable situations.
Well, you know he's happier for sure. Back-to-back running plays and a 1st down to the Bomber 50 in a 3-3 tie, 2nd quarter of the Banjo Bowl. Galera's throwing deep over the middle, and it's caught. Dembski again. He had a touchdown last week in the Labor Day Classic, and he has been money for Caleros. Is again there. 1st down inside the 40, down around the 37.
Dembski's going to just wrap. He's going to work for a little bit of width, and then he's just going to wrap to the middle of the field. Catches it right over the top of Jameer Thurman. Zach places this as a great throw. He knows he's got to get it over the top of the linebacker. Trusts his great receiver to go up and make the catch.
As mentioned, 83 straight games with at least a catch. Last week, 7 for 89 and a touchdown. Came in over 6,700 yards. Or 674 yards, excuse me. Look at what he did last week in the Labor Day Classic.
Last week, this seam pass down the middle of the field for an explosive pass play. A little bit of shovel pass action. He's so good with the ball in his hand. Get him other opportunities. Screen passes on the perimeter. Get this guy the ball as many as he can. And then when coverage breaks down, throw him a corner route for the touchdown. Bomber fans have seen a lot of corner routes. Zach Caleros to Nick Dembski over the years.
That helped cue the comeback, too. They were down 2 touchdowns in the 2nd half. Pressure, Caleros again. This time he gets away. Going to take off inside the 25. Caleros goes down, and he rolls, and he picks up another 1st down for Winnipeg using his feet.
You're going to get pressure on the inside. You got a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. Once that happens, they're all trying to get one-on-ones, but then they twist. Zach recognizes Malik Carney's out of position. He goes to scramble, gets the extra yardage. That's a huge save because they don't want to take a sack where they were at. Would have taken them out of field goal range. So great scramble by Zach. Good football IQ there.
He had 1 full season as the starting quarterback in Saskatchewan. Won the Banjo Bowl. Then the next 5 with Winnipeg. Throwing again. Pokey Wilson still on his feet. 5. Touchdown. Or did they just rule him down? And out of bounds, no. Picks up the TD. Wilson. What a return to Winnipeg for Ontario. Pokey Wilson.
We'll see if he gets there. It appears he crossed. That's what it looks like. It looks like he crossed the plane. All he has to do is either touch the pylon or get the ball past the pylon with his foot being in bounds. That looks like a touchdown.
It is indeed. 6 points, made 7 by Castillo. On that connection, the Bombers welcome back Pokey Wilson. And that pays off with his 4th CFL touchdown. Had 3 a year ago. What a return for number 80 Winnipeg. Bombers lead in the Banjo Bowl.
There was a lot of conversation last week. Why isn't Brady Oliveira getting the ball? Some of these reasons right here. This is a run play, but watch how quickly Zach recognizes and throws the uncovered throw on the outside. Tavon Campbell misses, turns it into a touchdown. Right, get Pokey Wilson a touch early in the game, but Zach's ability to just take the ball, received by Zach Polaris in recognition.
That capped off a 6-play, 70-yard drive. The lead for Winnipeg on that touchdown by Pokey Wilson. Here's Mario Alford on the return. And greeted there just across the 30. So back to Trevor Harris after a 3-for-6 start for 27 yards passing and 1 intercepted.
Trevor took one shot here. His deep shot downfield was intercepted. They have some underneath throws, but that's the one thing I've watched this offense all season long. He's completing almost 60% of his passes on deep balls downfield. That's at a crazy, amazing stat, his ability to push the ball downfield. Winnipeg's very difficult to do that too. We'll see if he continues to try to take shots.
His last 2 games have been his least productive in terms of passing yardage. Barely over 200. Throwing here over the middle. That's caught in a crowd. As Keyshawn Johnson gets it again up to about the Rider 49 with all kinds of Bombers surrounding him.
Yeah, and what you see here, watch Zach's here. As he goes, there's nobody really open early, so now he has to flip his hips. That's what Zach is so good at. See how he just, Trevor is really good at. He recognizes that, hey, I don't like to look to the right. How quickly he flipped to the left and then found an open receiver. That's what Winnipeg did last week to stop him. He couldn't throw his primary throws. He had to go to secondary players.
First down, Harris to throw again. Gets rid of it. It's deflected, though. But Tony Jones got his hand on it. The middle linebacker for Winnipeg knocked it up. And second down coming up.
Tony Jones, as an underneath linebacker, gets a lot of depth. You can see him getting depth and going to a spot underneath. This is a double move by Trevor. It's covered, and then he tries to go to the dig underneath. Tony Jones is right there underneath where he needs to be in the zone coverage. But Trevor trying to get that check down after trying to get another shot downfield.
Sellout crowd at Princess Auto Stadium. Can really generate some noise here in the second down and 10 for Harris. And a 3-man rush and a deep look. It goes off. Tommy Neal. Good coverage there by Winnipeg and Dietrich Nichols. As Harris and Neal, they tried to hook up for another big one like they had last week. There was a 69-yard touchdown. That one incomplete.
Very difficult to make some of these throws. Cam Allen's going to be here. If you watch, he's going to be inside of Tommy Neal. So now he's inside. You have a player inside, and you have a player over. And it's just so far away from Dietrich Nichols. Your halfback's got the ability to close and go make the play. Great play by Dietrich Nichols.
Joe Couch to punt. Standing at the Rider 35. Trey Babel, the sole returner for Winnipeg, down inside the Bomber 10. Winnipeg with that 10-3 second quarter lead. Getting the ball back with Babel taking 10 and 15. And some little burst there, but he gets tackled by Jaden Dahlke. Not the happiest of weeks for Brady Oliveira after the Labor Day Classic. Britt Dort's going to have more on Brady's story coming up. The Banjo Bowl on TSN. We're in the second quarter only, and Brady Oliveira already has more carries and more yards than he did all of the Labor Day Classic. Britt Dort, I think he's a bit happier now.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't happy about it, Rod. He told reporters this week that he was practicing, quote, pissed off, because he was really upset about that. And he told me today he still feels that way heading into this game. What upset him was the fact that he felt like the run game and himself were not utilized by the Bombers last week. He said he's going to make this a statement game. When I asked him what upset him the most, he said losing a game that I felt like I could have had my hands on the ball more to make a difference.
And Brett, that came after a game in Montreal where he made a huge difference. Ran for 137. They set up a screen to Oliveira. Gets it up across the 30 to about the 32 on that first down carry.
Here's what I like about that call right here. This is a screen pass. It's a touch to Brady. Let's not talk about run game. Get Brady Oliveira touches because he's a great football player. You're facing the best run defense in the Canadian Football League. So find different ways to get him touches. I like that call right there. You've got to make sure that your best players can get touches. Last week, they did talk about we had a lot of run-pass options. Well, there are sometimes you better just hand it to your best football player. That's going to happen sometimes.
I wonder if you'd know anything about offensive coordinators getting a little bit of heat from fans for play calling.
Oh, my God. Lord,
Especially here in Winnipeg.
And I'm like the Billy Martin of this. I've been here 3 different times, and even when we had great offenses, people were complaining about the offense.
You can relate to what Jason Hogan goes through. Here's Oliveira running again, and I'm getting it up near the 40.
Well, you know, it was so funny. Let's go to back. My wife used to hear it so much in the stands. She put a T-shirt together. My husband doesn't care what play you think he should call. That was in that was Banjo Bowl 2018. I think we had the #1 or 2 offense in the league. I would have never allowed her to wear it if we weren't doing so good. But you know, you got to have a thick skin to coach here. You've got to make sure when you're coaching. Like, I remember a quick story. I was reading the paper one day after a game, and I'm having some cereal, and I'm like, and all of a sudden I say, hey, things could be worse. You could be the offense coordinator of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The article started with. I'm like, wait a minute, I am the offensive coordinator of the Bombers.
Things people don't hear about. The throw by Collaros, caught by Dembski. Good run afterwards, 2 inside the 30, now close to the 25. Another big play. Collaros to Dembski, first down Winnipeg.
Once again, zone teams, you got to get clear out routes. Nick Dembski's going to show up in your screen at one point, but watch right here. You have clear out routes. I believe that's Clarcius clearing out the space so you can create the opportunity. And once again, Zach is on point, throwing it over linebackers and putting a little bit of air on it to get it to Nick Dembski. See, I think the fans like Jason Hogan's call.
They're loving Jason Hogan's call right there.
Call.
Yeah, never a problem with that.
No. Call only the ones that work, as a coach used to tell me.
Big plays win games. Get back in the good books again. Back in the ground, Oliveira. Ball's out! Riders, they had a chance. Looks like Winnipeg got it back. As a couple of Riders had a shot at it, and it looks like it's Dembski. He's the one that recovered it after the fumble by Oliveira. Nearly a costly turnover, Winnipeg.
A couple of receivers close to the box trying to help block. Great, they're around the ball. When the ball's on the ground, go recover, chase the ball. What an amazing football player. Doing everything in his power to help his team. Big catch, then recovers a fumble. Nick Dembski, great football IQ.
I was going to say, this is the Nick Dembski drive in more ways than one now at the big catch. And there's a big fumble recovery to keep this thing going. It's second down and 10 at the 26. Pressure on Collaros again, and a flag comes out. He takes off again. Another running play for him as he gets tracked down, but is this a hold coming up against Winnipeg?
Offside. Winnipeg #10. 5-yard penalty. We'll repeat second down.
Well, this time Dembski's involved in the drive in a way he wouldn't like to be. An offside called against #10.
Saskatchewan doing a lot of different things defensively. That's a linebacker. That's a linebacker. Hey, where's Malik Carney, one of the best defensive ends? He's on the center. Very hard to help him. It centers in a one-on-one spin move. You can see Brady Oliver now trying to help. They've made an adjustment. Wherever Malik Carney is, you're going to go help out. Good adjustment by the Bombers, but still a little bit of pressure forcing Zach to throw the ball quickly.
5-yard penalty, 2nd and 15 now. Lone push back outside the Rider 30. Winnipeg, a screen, this time to Dylan Mitchell. His first touch of this game. Doesn't get all that yardage back. Coming in, Jameer Thurman on the tackle, so it sets up a 3rd down, and Sergio Castillo will come on to see if he can add 3 more points to Winnipeg's lead.
Nice safe pass there. Dylan Mitchell, it's a screen pass. Lineman release downfield. No threat of, very little threat of losing yardage. Put yourself in good position, kick this field
goal. A week ago in the Labor Day Classic, Winnipeg had a 10-point lead, scored the first 10 of the game before the Riders came storming back. It's late in the first half. Castillo, no problem at all for Sergio Castillo from just outside the 30. 3 more on the board. 13-3. Winnipeg with the lead. Well, don't miss an unprecedented all-access look at one of the NFL's top teams. Hard Knocks training camp with the Buffalo Bills. An HBO original docuseries is now streaming only on Crave. fascinating watch. And the Bills getting it started, by the way, tomorrow night against the Baltimore Ravens, a couple of the top teams in the AFC. And here, what great tradition in the CFL, the Labor Day rivalries last week, and then this is where Winnipeg, and you know this from both sides, but so well from Winnipeg, having this Banjo Bowl and resuming this rivalry.
It's the best part of the Canadian Football League, seeing the fan support in both cities, seeing them travel from one week they all go to Regina, and then all the Saskatchewan people come here. Just a great rivalry.
And their team's on top by 10 now. We get closer to the 3-minute break. We're under 3 now, and that tackle after the catch by Keyshawn Johnson. Tony Jones with the tackle. Winnipeg leading this Banjo Bowl late in the half, 13-3.
Well, I have fantastic news. I've replaced Milt Stiegel and Enoch Moore. Enoch, get out of here, man. Dom Rhymes, he proved himself on the panel.
I'm back to work.
Dom, you dressed a little bit. Royce Benchie, are you staying around as well, too, or you got to get out there?
Well, I'm probably going to have to get going.
All right, they're coming up next.
He's not ready. He's not ready.
Enoch and Milt in Edmonton in this triple header Saturday. Late in the first half, they'll be coming up. But first, the Riders see if they can cut into this Winnipeg lead. There's a catch for Tommy Neal, who has had a touchdown in 3 of 4 games. Had a big one, 69-yarder last week in the Labor Day Classic.
Part of Trevor Harris's career. When we talked to him, he said this is what he believes in. Twig. Take what is given. And that's what he's had such a long career. That's why his offenses stay on the field. Got a bunch of routes going downfield. What's he do? He throws Tommy Neal the ball out on the sideline. Tommy catches it for a 4-yard gain, turns it up to a 6-yard gain. Take what is given, what he's been great at in his career.
So on second down now, here's Harris to throw again, to the right again. That time too far for Joe in his second game back with the Riders after being let go by the Indianapolis Colts. And he did have a catch for a 2-point conversion, a big 2-pointer in that Rider victory in the Labor Day Classic last week.
Fan favorite of Joe, and really enjoyed watching him progress last season, and it's great to have him back in the league.
Bringing a lot of passion and energy to that Saskatchewan dressing room. Talk about returning players. Pokey Wilson, too, for Winnipeg, has the touchdown in this game. Joe Couch standing back to punt it from the Rider 45. Trey Babel is coming in this time. Takes it at about the 12. Babel. And hauled down by Kerfella Exime. Well, yes, Pokey Wilson, with all the injuries at receiver for the Bombers, what a great acquisition, getting Ontario Wilson back. Here's what Zach had to say about that.
It's great to have him back. Great personality in the locker room, obviously. Super talented football player. There's a reason that he was down there, trying to latch on to a team. He does a lot of things well with the ball in his hands. Runs great routes. One of the best trackers of the football I've ever been around. A lot like, Kenny in that respect. A lot like Nick as well. Just kind of a different form of tracking the football. But yeah, just excited to have him back for sure.
It's paid off, 3 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Little play action pass coming up here, and it's a deep shot. Collaros for Dembski, and brilliantly Roland Milligan got in at the last second to get his left hand on it and knock it away.
Deep shot on the post in the middle field. Heavy play action. Really good. DeMarcus Fields comes off his receiver to make a play, get underneath it, but Roland Milligan using that long arm of his, getting in. And the best thing he did, his right hand did not get involved with Dembski. A lot of guys are going to grab him and hold him. Just puts the hand up. That would have probably been a touchdown if he doesn't make that play. Great play, Roland Milligan, using his speed and ability to run across the field to make the play.
The CFL's Defensive Player of the Year last year. And he had 8 interceptions. He has 4 heading into this game. Running a draw here to Dembski on that second down play, and not enough for a first. He picks up about 5 yards, so got a third down coming up here for the Bombers. 2:06 to go until halftime.
Draw play keeps the clock running so they can run a little bit more clock. Gives them the opportunity, gives the Bombers the opportunity to run as much clock as they can. They don't want to give the Riders an opportunity. They want to try to take as much time off the clock as they can so the Riders have less time to get a touchdown, but there should be enough time for them to go for that.
Mario Alford back in the return with Dante Myers. Alford's second game back after missing 5 with a hip injury. Explosive returner, Jamison Sheehan. Back at the Bombers 17, late first half. 10-point Winnipeg lead here in the Banjo Bowl. Alford has it at the 35. Going nowhere. Taken down nicely on special teams by Jalen Smith, the rookie. There's Jamarcus Hardrick. First time back in Winnipeg as a member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He was injured a year ago, couldn't play in this game. Oh, he had some tremendous years with your Bombers back then.
I loved coaching him. He brought energy every day. He had a smile on his face. His teammates loved him. He was physical, but he also played with great effort. He chased the ball. What that meant is after a run play, he would go down. He'd be the run downfield with the ball. He'd be the first guy to pick up the running back after a play. Great football player.
Fans loved him, too, and the way he engaged with them during great years with Winnipeg. The right tackle staying in to protect there, and it gets knocked at the line for Robustelli. So, but the passion he brought, and then the Bombers admitted that he was very important that way as well. Remember this?
The Hardrick hop.
It wasn't a high hop, but
they're holding their life to get him up there. The whole team started doing it. He would always do different things. We used to give a scouting report out on the day before a game, and we'd show the funny things that happened in a week, and Jamarcus every week would be on those sheets doing something crazy that the players love to watch.
Oh, they loved him here in Winnipeg, and back. Strange feeling, emotional one for him too, I'm sure. With the Riders now, Dante Myers catches that one. Another good tackle in open space there. That's Dexter Lawson Jr. coming in.
Now, my last Jamarcus point is I've been watching the sidelines in the end zones to see if there's any green jerseys. Not many. I don't know if there is a touchdown for the Riders. I don't know if there'll be.
Think you do it again now in what is enemy territory? I don't know how Bomber fans would feel about that.
Not that end zone. He ain't going over there. I see like one green jersey in the whole end zone.
He said he was last year with Winnipeg. And Stanley Bryant had won that award so many times, top offensive lineman. And
now we signed him from Saskatchewan. Like he took him some time to
back
get in
in
the
16.
league. Yeah, and took him some time to start learning to be a full-time starter. But when we brought him in, we became a very good offensive line for a number of years.
And instead of Stanley a couple of years ago, Stanley was his mentor. Hardrick won top offensive line. Here's Battle now. Flag out on the return, picks up a block, and he goes down up across the 40. A flag a little further back as Collaros under a minute to go, and the Bomber offense coming back on. Kate and the panel in Edmonton for part 3 of the triple header. Milton Enoch there as well, having some fun at Commonwealth as they get set for the rematch.
Illegal block. Winnipeg number 27. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Goes against the Bombers, pushing the bag more, but the panel out on this triple header day and getting set for that one, but having some fun. And with us every step of the way here now. Their thoughts in this game coming up at halftime. And earlier in Montreal, the Alouettes at home lose to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Ticats won both games in that season series. So some highlights, talk about that. And a look ahead, too, after Calgary won on Labor Day Monday. Those two teams, as is tradition, will meet again coming up on this triple header. Bomber ball and Oliveira. Yet another carry for him and a much more productive game compared to the one last Sunday in Regina.
Getting a big run here. Now you get second and short. They probably try to, they're going to see where they are from the yardage standpoint. They should be able to, with 51 seconds left, they should be able to get in a position to kick the field goal.
Well, they certainly have a kicker who can hit it from a long way out. Sergio Castillo has a 63-yarder this season. Calgary. Another carry, 12th for Brady Oliveira, and another first down for Winnipeg as they get closer to their 40.
Yeah, they've run some time off the clock, so that allows them, now they can go tempo a little bit, try to see if they can get field goal range. 4-man
rush, and it's off for Oliveira, and he can't hang on that time, so very quickly a second down and 10. 38 seconds to go until halftime.
Left a little bit too early.
Beautiful day here in Winnipeg. A little bit cooler. Fall is in the air, but just gorgeous for football. And just tremendous atmosphere, like we saw at Mosaic last week. But this stadium fills up, 10th sellout, and a raucous crowd when the visiting team has the football. 2nd and 10. Pump fake. Deep shot. Oh, it's intercepted. Marcus Sales got ahead of Pokey Wilson on that. And he still has his return going here with 25 seconds on the clock till halftime. And hey, he gets it up close to the Saskatchewan 50 as Collaros himself coming in after the Sales interception. Looked almost like a receiver there as he got turned around running in, and the closest one to it.
A double move play. What's going to happen? You're going to have a player here. They're trying to move this player, but who they didn't see, Marcus Sales. That's what you want in a veteran defensive back. Watch, he's watching Zach. He's not going to cover the short one. He's going to go play and cover his teammate when his teammate jumped the underneath play. Great play by Marcus Sales, recognizing the pattern concept.
The Saskatchewan 49. Harris, still time. That's caught. Gets him much closer. Down to the 25, so they have a shot at adding some points before halftime.
One of the weaknesses of this defense sometimes is the middle of the field. He's going to break. Tommy Needle will break right to the middle of the field, and you see as everybody expanding, looking inside, there's that space right in the dead middle. Trevor recognizing Needle, he hits it.
There we go, Harris. Off the hands, nearly intercepted. Retta Cramdy coming in looking for another pick, but no, incomplete, but it got deflected by the Bombers, and they had a shot at snuffing out that drive as they're in scoring position.
Little tip drill going on, trying to make a play. Cramdy trying to get in there to make it. A little bit high. First tip, practices, Kyrese Wilson, big fail right there. Retta Cramdy just missed it, just a little bit.
So a couple of shots by Winnipeg. Wilson had it in his hands after it was deflected by a Rider receiver. Brett Lothar 1 for 1. This one a 35-yard attempt put down by Joe Couch. Just inside the left hash. Down and kicked and through. And that works out for the Riders. Looked like they wouldn't have a shot at any more points, but they do. And a big play to Neal. And for Corey Mace, they get within a touchdown at halftime, 13-6.
One of the top players in this game so far has got to be this guy, Nick Dembski. A little bit underneath, crossing routes, getting opportunities for the football. Deep shot downfield. Obviously, this is a guy that Zach Collaros is going to find as many opportunities downfield. Let's go to Britt. He's talking with Nick Dembski.
All right, Nick, well, 80 yards for yourself in that first half. You have the lead. What have you liked from you and your offense so far?
Yeah, we've been moving the ball good. We put some points on the board, but we've also left some out here. So, you know, still got to do better. Win the half, though, we'll win this game. So just go back to the drawing board.
Well, you can feel Saskatchewan making a push late there in the second. Your fans are helping you out here today. What's going to be important for you guys to keep making it tough on them?
Yeah, I mean, the fans obviously help a bunch, being loud and all that. But, yeah, we just got to play our brand of football. Stay on the field as offense, defense, get them out. Special teams, just stay stout and play our game.
Thanks so much, Nick.
Thank you.
Weak. Saskatchewan ball to start. Mario Alford on the return. Gets it up across the 30 before he's tackled there. Ethan Ball in on the tackle there for Winnipeg. Trevor Harris, 8-16 only. 96 yards passing and 1 interception.
Trevor talked about this week of you never see man coverage. And then when we had our conversation with Zach, he says you never see man coverage. You got a couple guys going, hey, where's the man coverage? Because you see some of these throws that are being knocked down in the course of the game. It's because everybody's in zones. They have time to knock these footballs down. So they got to just take some underneath shots, start getting a long 12-play drive.
Well, here we go. Opening position, second half is Harris. Hands off to A.J. Ouellette. Not much there against the Winnipeg front. Ouellette had 4 carries for 34 yards in the first half after having 89 on the ground in the Labor Day Classic.
Getting A.J. involved a little bit early is always a good thing. mixing up some of their run and pass. First down, give Trevor some good opportunities. But I'll tell you, the Bombers have really looked good stopping the run. They've lost contain once on a big explosive run. Besides that, they've done a really good job defensively. There you see Mark Mueller trying to see what he has in the second half.
See what the Bombers give Trevor Harris here on a second and long play. Back to pass, and underneath he does have that completion to Keyshawn Johnson up at around the 43. That's enough for a first down for Saskatchewan.
He's going to just run a quick dig right in the middle of the field, and you got to throw it through people. You see Michael Griffin right here on the inside. Okay, you got to throw it in between the linebacker, and as Michael Griffin's also there trying to make the stop. Good location. Great speed out of the cut by Keyshawn, and vision to the ball.
Right up to the Rider 43. Keyshawn Johnson, leading receiver for the Saskatchewan Roughriders coming into this game. Good protection, throwing again, and good coverage too. Coming over the top is Evan Holm and Joe Robustelli. Holm, one of the leading defenders for the Bombers in that play. Second down and 10 coming up.
And I thought this is what Winnipeg did last week. You know, it wasn't what Trevor's one of his best games last week because primary player is covered. I'm gonna have to turn my hips, go find the secondary receiver in the progression. It's hard for quarterbacks. Easy when you can throw the primary receiver. Sometimes getting third and fourth is difficult.
Crowd picks up Princess Auto Stadium, and quickly getting rid of it to the right, and it's completed too, and lunging there for the first down mark, not quite getting it, is Johnson to get it up to about the 53 of Saskatchewan. So we have a third down coming up here, Riders.
Reason he's still playing in the league, Trevor Harris. Look at the location on this football, and he threw this early with anticipation. He didn't see Keyshawn coming out of the end of the route. He just threw it to a spot, and it was a perfectly located football. Puts them in the position where they can keep this drive alive with a short yardage wedge.
Short yardage, Tommy Stevens country. The big quarterback comes on for Saskatchewan. Now we've got a 3rd and 1 right up near midfield for the Riders in this opening possession of the second half, trailing by 7. Ouellette and Myers up to the left. Stevens just lunges right over the top with that big frame. Tommy Stevens, pretty hard to stop in a situation like that. Closer to midfield than a first down, Saskatchewan.
He could just fall forward and get it. Good play with how big he is and big in his height. Well, they had man coverage on that last play, so I don't know if 3rd and 1.
That's
really
where you're going to see it, right?
You're going to see it on 3rd and 1. Whether you're going to take that shot or not, I don't know.
Just enough to keep the Bombers honest with Ouellette going out, Dante Myers, just in case they tried a little trick there with Stevens. So Harris is back on. 54-yard line, Saskatchewan. With Ouellette next to him. Gets the ball to it. Reddick Cramney fills the hole. Comes in nicely, and Ouellette is getting nothing on that play.
As you see, receivers come in to block. We always have multiple receivers adding into the to block. You can see right there Joe trying to come in. Well, the guy covering it, Joe, is Reddick Cramney. So he's taught as soon as you see your receiver go block, you fill because it's going to be a run play. Reddick Cramney, great recognition that it's a run. Filling, making the tackle in the backfield.
2nd and 10, a yard shy of midfield for Harris and the Riders. To pass to the left, and it's caught by Johnson. A flag comes out in the Rider backfield, but it would be a first down for Saskatchewan on another reception by Keyshawn Johnson, but it looks like it's going to be coming back.
Illegal block, hands to the face. Saskatchewan number 62. 10-yard penalty. We will repeat, 2nd down.
A flag to the left tackle, Peyton Collins, for legal hand to the face, and that negates the first down catch, and it pushes the Riders back to the 44.
Left tackle, Peyton Collins. Take a look. Again, you can't. That's dangerous. You can't grab the face mask, lunge it back. So the giveth and taketh away. We've already had one of those on both sides of the side. Okay, you can see it right there from the left. That's dangerous. Keyshawn, nice catch on the side.
Push back, 2nd and 20. Deeper ball to the right. It is caught. A Joe And they'll confer, but no catch. Joe caught the ball, but the feet were out of bounds, and it's a 3rd down and long. The Riders are going to have to punt it away.
Great concentration by Joe, just outside, out of bounds right at the end. This is real important. You can see his concentration, finding it, the ball, high pointing it, trying to get his feet in bounds. Just too far out of bounds to make that catch.
So the penalty hurts, and that one is incomplete. And so Joe Couch is back at the Rider 30. The Bombers about to get the ball for the first time in the second half with that 7-point lead. Couch does barely get it away. Coming in for it is Vavel, right around the 20. Trey Vavel. Busy man he's been. Starting in the secondary the last several games and still looking after the punt returns. Princess Auto Stadium, Banjo Bowl Saturday. Lapo, you were with the Bombers at the start of this great run. 5 straight Banjo Bowl victories going back to 2019. Not just the victories, also some of these scores pretty big in the Bombers' favor.
Huge. You look at 2020, you get 250 burgers in that. The 2019 one, 35-10, we lost the week before. And it's just kind of crazy how just 1 week later, the fan base, your own stadium, how you can just turn it around over the course of a week.
Great tradition at the Banjo Bowl. Bomber fans love that. There's Caleros, intercepted to Marcus Fields over the middle. A deep shot, and the return is still going for Fields. Down the sideline and out of bounds. Fields. Tremendous return after another pick thrown by Zach Caleros, who threw one in the final minute of the first half that led to a Rider field goal, and they're in field goal range again.
Trying to get a shot in the middle of the field to Pokey Wilson. And then this is what I'm talking about. So much zone. Fields has time because the ball's up in the air. He's in a zone position to run underneath it and make a play on the football. Nice by Fields, recognizing it, undercutting it. Then Zach Caleros trying to make the tackle at the end of the play. Another giveaway for the Bombers. Puts Saskatchewan in field goal range immediately.
He's thrown 13 interceptions now on the season, 2 of them today. And this one is the Riders immediately in business at the Winnipeg 27. Ouellette pushes for maybe a yard again. Winnipeg up front doing a good job against the Saskatchewan run.
The Achilles heel for this team is obviously turnover margin, right? -8 turnover margin, 8th in the Canadian Football League in turnover margin at -8. So that is not the recipe. The way this team has won has been running the football, playing great defense, and winning the turnover margin the last couple of years. This is their worst in a few years.
Once again, a turnover setting up Saskatchewan, looking for points off it. The Fields pick, 2nd down and long. Harris, and it's caught. And it's down at the 15 and a 1st down. Keyshawn Johnson again, his favorite target in this game. And having a good start here to the second half.
How quickly Trevor makes this throw, throws it with anticipation. On the curl route before the defenders can get there. He's got Holm driving on this curl route, but he throws it early. Gives Holm no opportunity whatsoever to make a play on the football.
Keyshawn Johnson, 3 catches for 30 yards just during this 3rd quarter alone. From the 15 of Winnipeg, here come the Riders. Harris has time. He steps up, and he doesn't run off it, but he does there. He gets it down to about the 12 as the ball pops out of bounds. Rare running play for the Riders' veteran quarterback.
Michael Griffin got in his throwing lane. Did a really good job. That's a good coverage sack. Michael Griffin just falls in where Trevor's about to throw. Trevor's smart, understanding he's in field goal range, just scrambles, gets what he can. A lot of coverage here by the Bombers here on these early downs.
From the 12, 2nd and long again, Saskatchewan. Down by 7, but threatening. Deep in the Winnipeg zone. 3-man rush. Harris, he takes off again. And he gets it down to about the 5. Looks like a 1st down and goal coming up here for Saskatchewan. A day for veteran quarterbacks deciding to run.
Great football IQ, because the coverage that the Bombers play avoids the middle of the field. So when you play it here, you've got nobody in the middle, okay? So as everybody expands, there's all that space. He can now just see, hey, I only need 5 yards. I'm just going to scramble forward, get what I can, create another first down inside the 5.
As mentioned, the running QBs, Bo Levi Mitchell runs for a touchdown for Hamilton in their win in Montreal earlier today. Saskatchewan on the break and tying this one up. Ouellette, 3, 2, 1, touchdown Saskatchewan Roughriders. Second straight week against Winnipeg. A.J. Ouellette has a rushing touchdown and now a point after away from making it a tie ball game.
A.J. Ouellette breaks the tackle. Brammer does a nice job creating a little bit of a lane. Jamarcus Hardrick pushing the defensive lineman into the end zone. Good execution. Good drive by Trevor. Taking what the defense is giving him. Scrambling, using his legs. Put themselves in a great position after the turnover.
And relative to what we're used to in this stadium, you could almost hear a pin drop. Quieting the crowd at Princess Auto. Brett Lother misses an extra point for the second straight game, and so it remains a Winnipeg lead. And Lother 2 for 2 in field goals, but as mentioned, he had a missed extra point last week. He has had some troubles this year, and continuing with that kick. The Riders get within 1.
Points off a turnover is so important. DeMarcus Fields gets the interception return. Keyshawn Johnson makes this nice catch, throw by Trevor. Trevor can't get anybody open. What's he do? Takes it himself, uses his legs. Couple of scrambles by himself to create first downs. Get the ball inside the 5. And then what do? Give it to A.J. Ouellette. Let Jamarcus Hardrick push him right into the end zone for a touchdown. Excellent drive and response after the turnover by the Bombers.
Yeah, the Bombers have turned it over twice. First time late in the half led to a field goal. Riders, this time a touchdown. Nick Weeb on that special teams tackle on that return by Winnipeg. Bombers still leading just by a point. Discussion of the running backs. And former Bomber Andrew Harris. National Football League season is underway, and big Sunday coming up tomorrow. Sunday Night Football, too. It's the Ravens up against the Buffalo Bills. Huge matchup in the AFC. Couple of favorites, 8:20 Eastern, 5:20 Pacific on TSN and CTV. And here on TSN, big day with a triple header earlier. It was the Ticats beating the Alouettes, and here in the Banjo Bowl, Zach Collaros and the Bombers still leading by 1. Awfully close between these two yet again, as it was last week in the Labor Day Classic, and a short pickup on first down for Brady Oliveira.
You could probably bet your mortgage after an interception. You're probably going to hand it off to Brady Oliveira off there. You saw DeMarcus Fields blitzing off the front side edge because the Riders said they're going to run the football here. So tough sledding on the inside.
Well, 2 picks thrown by Collaros on the day, and as mentioned, both turned out to be costly because it was in the
10 points, right?
Yeah, 10 points in the final minute. They only had about 38 seconds left in the first half, had the ball, and off the turnover, the Riders are able to get close enough to get 3. And of course, off this one, they were set up nicely inside the Winnipeg 30, ended up with a touchdown. Pressure coming at Collaros. They got him. Ball's out. Riders have it. And Collaros is down. You could see it coming with the blitz coming by Saskatchewan as they got in, hit him hard, and out came the football, and the Riders take over at the Winnipeg 30, and Collaros is still down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's one more. Here comes number 7. You can't block them all. Zach's got to recognize this coverage and see this. That's the free rusher. Everybody's protected. The reason that one's free is because the quarterback has to see it, can't see it, and then you're going to get a huge shot right here. The ball's coming out. Difficult shot to take. And the turnover. Now, one thing that could happen here, they could be looking at this and seeing, you know, if this is a shot to the head, if the command center determines it's a shot to the head and it's a turnover, it could be challenged.
Mike O'Shea in discussion with the officials. You can hear the crowd reacting. They were getting a look at the replay, and he's got the challenge flag in hand.
Winnipeg is challenging the previous play for roughing the passer.
Confirmed that the Bombers are challenging on this. Was this a necessary roughness, Lapa?
So they're going to try to say this is a blow to the head, and this blow to the head is what led to the fumble. And you can't have a unnecessary roughing the passer that causes the fumble. So this could be turned over if they deem this is a contact to the head first.
It was C.J. Rivas coming in on the blitz. You see their helmets did make contact there, and Mike Rose picks up the loose ball for Saskatchewan. So now you can see Mike O'Shea taking out the challenge flag. He wanted another look at it to see if it was unnecessary roughness, and if it is, then obviously the turnover is negated and it remains Winnipeg football. But Collaros, as mentioned, injured on the play.
Chris Streveler's warming up right now.
The discussion continues. Let's have one more look at this as the replay center continues to deliberate. Was this a penalty? You see Rivas's helmet, the front of it, colliding with Collaros' helmet, and he went down. The ball came out. Collaros stayed down. And now the replay center responding to O'Shea's challenge this way.
After review by the command center, we have roughing the passer. Saskatchewan #1. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Rivas is indeed flagged for it. So Winnipeg gets to keep the football. They have a first down, but their starting quarterback, Zach Collaros, is injured, and Chris Streveler coming on.
Yeah, as the head, you could see Collaros looked like his head was turning as that collision happened. It's close, but I think they would probably err on the side of making that roughing the passer call. Creates a 15-yard penalty, negates the turnover. Enter Chris Streveler,
who has had several appearances when Collaros has been hurt this season. Happened against the Argos in Toronto. Happened earlier in the year. In fact, Collaros under suspension didn't play in their first game, and that was Streveler who won that. 2-0 as a starter, and in now in relief with the penalty up across their 50 and a first down Winnipeg, leading by a point. Streveler at quarterback and hands it off to Oliveira, who with second effort manages to get it up across midfield.
Lower body strength great by Brady to be able to just drive defensive linemen and bring them to get at least 3 yards to force a 2nd and 7. So we'll see Chris Streveler. The one thing Streveler's got the ability to do they have some run game built into this package? Do they have some quarterback draw? Do they have some things that allow him to utilize the strength of his legs?
You know better than just about everyone the value of using Streveler as you did with his running threat as well. Throwing that time, and that's Carrick Wheatfall, and his first catch, and Marcus Sayles comes in and hits him, and Sayles is now down on the field after that catch by Wheatfall.
Great vision by Streveler, a little bit of a pressure from the outside, but it's a great throw by Streveler, just getting the laces and throwing it and hitting Wheatfall, and again he locates it so he can get upfield, get that 1 yard that just puts them in a 3rd and short situation. If it's not located perfectly, he's got to go back for the ball, and it's not going to place the ball 3rd and 1.
Wheatfall, first catch, he had a big touchdown catch as the Bombers rallied last week in the Labor Day Classic and nearly came back to tie the game in his 2nd year, and a more prominent role in that Winnipeg offense. And it's Marcus Sayles, the boundary corner, who had an interception earlier in this game late in the first half that ended up leading to a Rider field goal, and in a lot of discomfort down on the field.
See as Wheatfall goes to turn, he gets collision right on his knee right there. You can see right at that time he gets whacked. He's walking off. Could be just contusion on his hip or thigh.
Marcus Sayles Used to play for the Bombers, BC Lions, in Saskatchewan. Now his 7th year at West Georgia, but limping off the field. So, and not a lot of depth in the Rider secondary coming into this because of injuries they've had before. Kosi Onyeka had got the start at safety, and you see Kerfella Exame, their one depth player in their secondary, coming on now.
And they've moved Tavon Campbell. He went to the boundary to play Marcus Sale's position, and Kerfella Exame goes to the field corner.
Exame, originally drafted by the Bombers in 2019, excellent special teams player here in Winnipeg before moving on. So now short yardage, and it's Strebler in a position that he's comfortable with, gets the first down. Strebler in at quarterback now after the injury to Zach Collaros, and a first down now. They're across midfield, and they'll scrimmage at the 48 of Saskatchewan, nursing a 1-point lead. Another reason for this normally raucous crowd to be somewhat silenced here, subdued after the Roughrider touchdown and then the injury to Zach Collaros. Trying to put some energy back here at Princess Auto Stadium with Winnipeg. Strebler, the fake, he tries to dump it off, but no, it's Rivas, the one with the big hit on Collaros, coming in, getting the hands up there on Chris Strebler.
Last week, C.J. Rivas blitzed off the outside at least 4 times in the first half. Here's another pressure off the front side. Why is the Riders doing this? Because they expect Chris Strebler to pull the ball and throw it on the perimeter. So what do? You send a blitzer at the top of your screen coming out, and now he can put his hands up and impede the throw on the outside. So C.J. Rivas has been spectacular the past couple of weeks. He can rush the passer, he can cover, he can do a lot of things in this defense.
Strebler throwing again quickly. It is caught. It's Kevin Sclarciez at a big catch. Best as a Bomber last week in the Labor Day Classic with his first catch of this Banjo Bowl.
Huge catch. That yardage makes it a much easier field goal for Sergio Castillo. We know he likes to kick some of the long ones, but just that gain of 5 yards makes it a much easier field goal percentage. So it's good to get this field goal opportunity out of this drive.
Well, Castillo close to money outside the 50. He's 6 for 8, 50 plus. He missed a 50-yard try last week in the Labor Day Classic. As mentioned, he's hit a 63 this season. His personal best, one of the best ever in the Canadian Football League. This is a 51-yard try to make it a 4-point game. Jamison Sheehan putting it down. It is sailing left, so he misses that one as Mario Alford brings it out. Across the 10, across the 20, and still on his feet across the 30. So a good return, Alford, on the missed field goal, and no harm for the Riders there as their offense comes back on the field, trailing by just the 1 point.
Really good coverage and tackle there. Gabe Wallace getting in on that one.
Still no word on Zach Collaros and his condition, as now it's the Bomber defense on the field and brings some life to that crowd, trying to make it hard for Trevor Harris. Quickly off to the left to Tommy Neal, takes that screen and pushes his way up to about the 38. Second down, about 5 coming up.
Good accuracy on the screen on the outside, but watch, Evan Holmes shows up into your screen, runs it down from his high halfback position, makes a great tackle to the wide side of the field.
Call it a gain of 6 by Tommy Neal. 2nd and 4, Saskatchewan. Trying to win the Banjo Bowl for the first time since Zach Collaros was their quarterback back in 2018. Trevor Harris, 4-man rush, quickly again and caught. First down, 2, Joe picks up the catch. His first one of the afternoon, had one but was ruled out of bounds earlier in this game. Sticks move.
How quickly he recognized the underneath throw. Gets it to Joe in the soft part of the zone on 2nd and medium. Joe just sits down. Trevor's already got the ball on the way to him. Get on the same page with your quarterback. Nice and easy.
Joe's second year in the CFL. Let go recently by the Indianapolis Colts. Coming back to Regina. Quickly again to Neal. This time off to the right. And Tommy Neal trying to pick up a few more yards as they work their way. A second down and long coming up. He only gets a couple there.
Trying to get those defensive backs to cover space. Tommy Neal with a couple blockers. Good coverage once again by the Bombers.
This will be the last play of the third quarter. Lower scoring game. It was 34-30 the final last week at Mosaic. 25 points on the board, a 1-point game. Second down and long. Harris has time and completes it for another first down across midfield. That's Dante Myers with the catch, as the sticks will move and the Riders will head to the fourth quarter in the Winnipeg zone, trailing by just a point. Close game in this Banjo Bowl, as it was a year ago when it came down to a one-score game in the final minutes. Final 15 coming up here in Winnipeg. Heading to the final quarter of the Banjo Bowl, the Riders trail by 1, but they're in good shape right now going into the final 15. And Lapo, as you look at these numbers and consider too, Zach Collaros, for now anyway, is out of this football game.
Well, I think the Bombers defense have done a nice job today holding Trevor Harris and company to not a lot of plays. You see the 9 points off of turnovers. That, you just can't do that. That's been the Bombers' Achilles heel this season. And now it's Chris Streveler who's going to have to find a way to get some points on the board. But you'd love this Bomber defense to try. It's very hard. Trevor Harris doesn't make mistakes. Can you get him into a bad throw, a bad situation where the ball can be a turnover like they got early in the first quarter?
Well, the biggest play of the third quarter, the interception by DeMarcus Fields and the return down inside the Winnipeg 30, and ultimately led to a Saskatchewan touchdown by A.J. Olette. It was a missed extra point, hence a 1-point difference starting the fourth. Winnipeg leading, but here comes Saskatchewan down close to the Bomber 50 on first down, and coming back for that is Joe Robustelli. Good run after the catch to Robustelli. After contact, and he picks up even more down inside the Winnipeg 35.
Wide receiver screen. Rostelli's going to come back here. You're going to have a blocker out. You're going to have other blockers. A bunch of players. Get the ball in space. You haven't run the ball well all game. Get a screen pass going. Look at all the offensive line. Follow all the fat guys I used to say. I'm sorry. The big guys, I should say that. Okay? Follow them. Get that going on a nice screen pass. Hey, these are run plays. You're not running the football all game. Get it out to your athletes in space. Trevor will locate it.
Another shorter pass, a good run after it for the Riders. Harris. Deeper look this time. And close. Trey Babel right there with Robustelli inside the 5, but it falls down incomplete.
One of the things that impresses me about Trey Babel, watching him, is you watch this kid's feet and how he can change direction, how quickly he recovers, trusts his speed, just runs downfield and is just watching and then throws his hand in to go make a play on the way. Babel has done a spectacular job filling in at corner the past couple weeks and playing return.
That's after the injury several weeks ago to Terrell Bond, who's out for the season.
Challenging the previous play. The defensive pass interference.
Corey Mays thinks that coverage by Babel was a bit too close. He's thrown his challenge flag.
We will now see whether it's a little bit of hand play or if he impeded the receiver in any way, shape, or form. Okay, you can see it here. A little bit of hand play, just as much from Robustelli. Not sure, Rod. I'm not sure.
Well, and Lapo, we've talked about this before, always looks a little different when you slow it down like that.
Yeah, we're slowing it down right now. The command center is not going to slow this down.
They should be evaluating
the replay center is not going to slow this down. Yeah,
the replay center at live speed. We'll see how they do view this, and the challenge by Mace. A big challenge it is, too, because that was down inside the Winnipeg 10. Here's the result from the replay center.
After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. Saskatchewan will be charged their first
of the receiver. Trey Babel, really good coverage.
So the ball is on the Winnipeg 33. It is a second down and 10 after that failed challenge. A 1-point game. Saskatchewan trails. And this has really brought some life into the crowd here at Princess Auto Stadium. Picking up the noise. Harris quickly, no. Intended there for Keyshawn Johnson. Lots of bombers around him. It falls incomplete. And now it's a field goal situation. Brett Lother is coming back on.
He's going to run a simple dig and wrap right around the linebackers. Into that space. Cameron Allen's right there trying to make it. Just the ball's a little off by Trevor. I think Trevor would love to have that throw back. Good stop by the Bombers. And an errant throw by Trevor.
Joe Couch will put it down at the Winnipeg 41. Lother in field goals is 2 for 2. Big one here. And inside the right upright, he is 3 for 3. And helping make amends for the missed extra point as it does give Saskatchewan the 2-point lead. The chance there for Johnson. Coverage bearing down, incomplete. Instead, they settle for 3. This happened late in the third quarter. Zach Collaros took a hit, and he left for the dressing room, has not returned.
Zach was 9 of 15 at that point, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Takes a shot from C.J. Rivas as the Riders tried to blitz him. We have not seen him back on the sideline. So he's gone inside. And no further update from the Bombers.
So Chris Strevler in at quarterback as the Bombers take over. And they now trail 15-13. Brady Oliveira trying to feel his way through, but nothing doing. And Micah Johnson says, take a seat. The size and strength inside, and that interior line for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Great defensive line they have been all year, and not much there for Oliveira.
Big Micah Johnson on the inside. You can see him. He's at that what's called nose guard position. He is excellent at taking people with his strength, staying with him till he sees the back or the quarterback, throwing him out of the way and making the tackle. Just a great career, physical dominating lineman. And yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer. And that's not easy, Rod, playing in there. It's one thing to be a punter. That guy's hitting every play.
An early movement. It looked like the left tackle, Stanley Bryant, as the flags come out. Or was it?
Offside. Saskatchewan number 95. 5-yard penalty. Remains second
Stanley
down.
moved because Hava Baldonado would move first for the Riders. So it's an offside call, and Winnipeg benefits here with the 5-yard penalty to push things up to the 46.
Good change up by the Bombers to help their cause, slow down this pass rush. Much better down and distance situation here. Yeah, way better opportunity for them at 2nd and 4.
Chris Strevler came back to the CFL after several years in the NFL last year. Completes that pass to Pokey Wilson. Talk about coming back from the NFL. He gets pulled way back by DeMarcus Fields, but he only needed 4 yards. Furthest advancement is enough for a Winnipeg first down.
Good call by the Bombers here. This is a run play, so you're going to see Brady come this way. Everybody else blocking the run, but C.J. Rivas is coming in. You got a bunch of blitzers. So what does Strevler do? He just takes the ball and kills the blitz. And what does that mean? It says, hey, if we can't handle the run, we can't block all the players, we have routes attached, we're going to go ahead and throw it. We want to run the football, but if the blitz shows up, we're going to kill the blitz with a throw.
Strevler's 3 for 4, 16 yards. Wilson had a touchdown earlier in this game. Strevler being chased there by Caleb Sanders, has to just throw it away. Chucks that one into the dirt. And a 2nd and 10 coming up here for Winnipeg.
That's like a whiskey bottle, Rod. Do you know what a whiskey bottle play is? If they don't like it very much, they're going to throw the whiskey bottles from the top deck down. What was that call? A little bit of a sprint out here. I think this may have been a shovel play. You can see right here there's a shovel inside. He's trying to get the ball on the inside on the shovel to Michael Chris Ike, right?
Yeah, Michael Chris Ike, absolutely. Yeah, the closest one to it there.
Yeah, so that was a shovel pass on the inside.
Still digesting the whiskey bottle reference. That's old-time football then. fans at Bottles in the
first
stands. Yeah. That's complete to Oliveira. Midfield. And he hits Devon Campbell, and he just keeps right on going. Another good effort by Brady Oliveira, and another first down for Winnipeg.
One of the strengths of Brady Oliveira is his lower body strength. Just his ability, when people come to go tackle him low, he's got balance, he's got power, and he can break tackles. That's a spectacular play on the outside. Find more ways to get him the ball in space that isn't a run right up the middle. Keep getting him involved.
Under 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Winnipeg trails by 2. They have it at the Rider 46. Back to Oliveira, left side. Has more room. He just keeps chugging those legs. He gets it down just inside. The Rider 40 not going down easily at all is Oliveira, setting up a second and short.
A little bit of widen out the defense and break back inside. Stretch them. Find a crease, get north-south. Good 6-yard gain.
To set up second and 4, Oliveira, 24 yards last week. He is 70 right now on 16 carries. That's more like it for number 20, who we heard Brent Dorn earlier was kind of a foul mood all week about lack of touches he had in the Labor Day Classic. There's another one. And nowhere to go that time. Good work up front. It's A.J. Allen, the weak side linebacker, coming in on that tackle, and a third down now with Sergio Castillo coming on. Two for 3. He had a miss from 51 earlier, and this one, with the missed extra point by the Riders looming, would give Winnipeg a chance to retake the lead by 1. And that is not what they do. Another miss. Second one of the game for Castillo. And Alford brings this one out, and then he backtracks, heading into the end zone. Where do they spot this ball? That would be a safety for Winnipeg, because he went back by choice, just got out, and that'll give a head coach some heartburn right there, especially in a game this close.
Well, 2 weeks in a row, we're talking about what's happening at the 1-yard line at the end. Huge save by Alford.
So it's not 3, but it was awfully close to 2, and the Riders will have to start deep in their zone. This was halftime here in Winnipeg, when the Bombers honored a member of the Ring of Honor, the 17th. The late Tyrone Jones, who passed away back in 2008, was a Hall of Fame linebacker for Winnipeg. Part of one of the great defenses ever. Won a couple of Grey Cups, 84, 1990 as well. Along with James West. That was a fearsome linebacking core. The family of Tyrone Jones here today to see him so honored in the Ring of Honor here in Winnipeg. From the end zone, Trevor Harris, deep shot, Robistelli. Oh, they got out of a jam in a real hurry. One play, as yes, they're trying to silence this crowd at Princess Auto Stadium.
Throws down the sideline, backed up. You want to sometimes just get out of here with the one big throw. Trevor sees a one-on-one with the boundary corner on Robistelli. A little bit of a double move on Babel. Gets him moving inside. Great throw, great execution from backed up. That's what you want to do, flip the field and get it across.
Talk about all that zone coverage and having to be patient and throw underneath. Got a long one there, 48 yards. Longest pass for Harris on this day. Timely, too. Get him out of being backed up. And it's A.J. Ouellette now. And on his back is Vavel, hauling him down after a few yards. But yeah, the Riders backed up near their end zone, hanging on to a 2-point lead. And that gets him out of a lot of trouble right there.
I asked Coach O'Shea what he liked about this Rider football team. And he talked about that they play 3-phase football. He talked about they run the football very well. They're very good on defense. And they do good good things that winning teams do. What does a winning team do when you're backed up and you want to flip the field? You make the opportunity. That's a huge play to help their defense by flipping the field and creating the field position they need. Keep this drive going.
4-yard carry by Ouellette. So it's a 2nd and 6. Deep shot again. And that one intended for a Joe, and Vavel is there. And we do have a flag coming out as well. So what's the call coming up here? Referee Tom Valesi, and a discussion. That coverage by Vavel on a Joe.
Defensive pass interference. Winnipeg number 23. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
When you see it here, I believe they're gonna say Vavel's trying what they believe is on another double move on him. That his right hand right there, you can see his right hand. He's impeding the ability of Ojo to use his hands to make the play. That should be a call that would not get overturned if you challenge it. Yeah, couldn't bring his hand up, so that's going to be called every time.
That's all the way down now to the Winnipeg 28. Here come the Riders. They have a big passing play to Robustelli. The big penalty call, the PI, to try to get it to a Joe. They got a 2-point lead, and now in position to add to that. Back to Ouellette, left side, cuts it back up, and met there by one of the leading tacklers in the CFL, Tony Jones, a middle linebacker, takes Ouellette down. 2nd down coming up here for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Tony Jones does a good job of, you got a bunch of offensive, defensive linemen here, and Tony Jones just scrapes over the top as A.J. Ouellette feels like, I'm going to go outside. Tony Jones stays home, just makes the play. All those guys covered, there's nobody can get off on the middle linebacker.
4th tackle today for Jones, 2nd leading tackler behind only Micah Awe in the CFL coming in. 2nd and 7, the 25. End zone, and Evan Holm was close to his 5th interception in coverage on Robustelli. Holm, the field half, had a shot at it right at the goal line. It falls incomplete.
This is what you try to do. This corner is going to leave his area of the field and try to make a play. So what do? You fake it and throw there. But Evan Holm's going to come out of his high area, recognize it, and go try to make the play and get underneath it. Almost made the interception.
The Bomber lead in picks with 4, so Lother is on 3 for 3 in the field goal department. This from the 33 in the left half. Heading right, and does head through inside that right upright. 3 more on the board. Another field goal for Lother, and a 5-point Saskatchewan lead here at the Banjo Bowl in Winnipeg. It's getting late in the Banjo Bowl, and the Bombers, who've dominated this game, winning 5 straight, 8 of the last 9, are trailing here in the 4th quarter to Saskatchewan after another Brett Lother field goal. 5-point difference, and heading down to 6 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter with Chris Tremblay, quarterback, handing off to Brady Oliveira, who does another good job with it on 1st down as he pushes that one up to set up a 2nd and short coming up here for Winnipeg.
Nice 8-yard run, working upfield, trying to push that vertically. The offensive line's done a nice job this game preventing the negative yardage plays they had last week. Too many negative yardage plays, getting 4 legs on 2, what I like to call double teaming at the point of attack, giving Brady a little bit of a crease to get that 8-yard gain.
Yep, a little more than 8. It's just nose of the ball about a yard and a half here on 2nd down. Strebler in for the injured Zach Collaros, giving it to Oliveira again, who pushes it across the 50, and that should be a 1st down for Winnipeg. Another carry for Oliveira. Much busier afternoon for him compared to last week in Regina.
One of the best things the Riders have done today and throughout the course of this game is it's kind of quiet in here, Rod. And obviously, when you go in the other, you always talk about with your players, hey, we go to somebody else's park. It's so much better if we quiet the crowd. Let's make our games. It's so fun to win a game when we got 30,000 people trying to scream and holler, but they can't because you're beating the opponent.
Yeah, great crowd by number, 10th straight sellout, but you're right, it has been a little bit quieter now. Strebler keeps it, and Designed run for Strevler and a good pickup across midfield for the running quarterback of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, setting up another second down and short.
Little eye distraction. They're going to be a reverse player coming that way. Little fake reverse, and then an outside zone play to the quarterback. Gets Strevler around the edge. He's got good speed. Everybody worried about Brady Oliveira on the inside. Hit the ball on the outside to Strevler.
I was going to say, in 2019, when you were the offensive coordinator here, you used Strevler well in situations when you had Andrew Harris, his running back as well, but just the threat to use his legs. He's in there at quarterback and handing off that time, and Oliveira gets tackled after a very short gain by Malik Carney, right down around the 50. He didn't need much, needed 3 yards for a first down, but he's just shy. Looks like another third and about a foot or two coming up here for Winnipeg as Terry Wilson comes on now with Strevler as the #1 quarterback right now. With Zach Collaros hurt, it's Wilson who will handle the short yardage.
Done some short yardage throughout the course of this season when Strevler was starting for Zach earlier in the season.
And it was in the Banjo Bowl a year ago that Strevler suffered a season-ending knee injury, and Wilson came on, was Collaros' backup. In fact, dealt with these situations in the Grey Cup as well. At BC Place last November, Terry Wilson had a first down for Winnipeg.
Yeah, Strevler was trying to throw a pass on 2nd and 1, dropped back, and he got hit below the knees and finished his season.
So back in this Banjo Bowl, and he is their quarterback now for Mike O'Shea with Collaros in the dressing room. 3-minute warning is given. Another close one in the Banjo Bowl. It was only a 5-point difference a year ago. That's the difference now. Getting late, 4th quarter in Winnipeg. We're not done here, and certainly not done for the day. Another game coming up in this triple header. It's the rematch between the Edmonton Elks and the Calgary Stampeders, who won on Labor Day at McMahon at Commonwealth. And the panel is there too. Kate, Enoch, and Milt as well. What a great day for football in the Canadian Football League here on TSN. And the Stampeders right behind Saskatchewan in the standings, 2 points behind, and they own the season series too. Winnipeg down 5. Nick Dembski on that sweep cuts it up. That pickup on first down. Another second down and shorter coming up here for Winnipeg.
A little bit of misdirection, trying to get Dembski an outside zone, a little bit of a speed sweep. Good come up in coverage. And Yeka coming from his free safety spot. He's got a what's called rock and roll, run down and go take Dembski. A good change up, trying to get yourself, just not handing the ball Brady Oliveira, mixing it up.
Call it a gain of 5 and 2nd and 5. Strevler, the fake, the throw, and it's intercepted. Intended for Dylan Mitchell, ends up in the hands of Tevon Campbell, who had the big interception on the 2-point try at the end of the game last week on Labor Day, Sunday. And it went for a pick 2 and sealed the deal for the Riders. And that one late in this game, a huge turnover. Saskatchewan football.
Has vision on the outside as he sees, watches, he's patient, he sees the ball trying to be thrown, falls back inside. The ball's thrown too far outside. He gave up on the deep route, knows it's going to be an underneath throw, falls back inside as it's thrown. A little bit outside by, a lot outside by Strevler. Nice interception by Tevon Campbell.
Well, it's Rider football, but they are being pushed back now. Officials spotting it back at the 27 of Saskatchewan. Saying he was touched as soon as he caught the ball, but that's the 5th interception of the season for Tevon Campbell.
Great instincts, great vision, seeing that Strevler's about to throw the ball underneath.
And the 3rd interception for the Riders in this day. Picked off Collaros twice, picking off Strevler, and back to Oled.
He's your leader in interceptions right now, right? Tevon Campbell. It's always good when the top interception leaders are on the same team.
You're
doing something well.
Well, they had last year's leader, Roland Milligan, who had 8 last year, 5 for Campbell. What knocked into coming back?
What a great signing for this Riders
say Corey Mace talked about that earlier. Campbell, for several years in the NFL, he'd been with the Riders, played at the University of Regina, drafted by Calgary, and a couple of seasons with the Montreal Alouettes before he went down to the NFL and decided to come back to the Canadian Football League. The green and white certainly glad he did. So, Saskatchewan offense got a 5-point lead, 2:22 in the clock here in Winnipeg. Crowd picks up, blitz is coming, and Trevor Harris who gets rid of it. And he had an open Keyshawn Johnson in behind Evan Holm, and a flag comes out. Evan Holm in coverage on Keyshawn Johnson.
Understanding that the Bombers are going to come up and play the run. The Bombers blitzed everybody they had except for the cover players. Trevor had a double move. Evan Holm impeded the receiver. So double move for the touchdown.
Pass interference. Winnipeg number 31. Spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Knowing you're going to get cover zero, you take the shot play to finish the game right now. But Evan Holm gets engaged. He's trying to cover it. Okay. Right here. Boom. He makes the save. So it, this could be, if this was caught, it would have been a touchdown, but you just can't impede there. So first down, that's going to be a first down. It's a good call by the officials.
That explains why the ball was overthrown by Harris, with Johnson's progress impeded there by Holmes on that penalty. And it is up to the 39, Saskatchewan. Tommy Stevens is in. He faked Ouellette, and he slides up for what looks to be a first down near the 50. So used to seeing Stevens strictly in short yardage, that time on a 1st and 10, and calls his number.
Stomach the ball inside, then adjust. Willie Jefferson gets caught in a position where he can't recover as he's engaged. Tommy turns around, gets himself for the first down. This is good at the end of the game. Have a package with a mobile quarterback. Keep Trevor on the sideline. See how many yards Tommy Stevens will be able to get on first downs. Keep running the football.
They're up near their own 50 now, protecting a 5-point lead. Stevens still at quarterback. Thanks to Ouellette, and he runs again. He bulls his way up just across midfield. Another good pickup running by Tommy Stevens on first down.
You see him start to engage. I'm not sure whether this is a designed run, whether he's reading what's happening at the end. Just kind of watch him right here, and I think he's deciding, like, I'm going to keep the ball up on an inside. I see this open gap. I'm going to take it. Finish off as he falls forward, puts him in 2nd 5. Trot Trevor out for a pass play.
Clock continues ticking. Down to a minute and a half here in this Banjo Bowl. 18-13 Riders. Harris back in. Completes it to Dante Myers. And picks up more yardage after the catch to get it down inside the Winnipeg 35. And another big first down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Smart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A lot of people coming in. Tommy Neal added in. You had extra players that gave Trevor the time. Can see this. He still has one he's got to throw off, but he gained more time. Myers on a little rub play underneath. Allows them to hold on to the ball. Don't give it back to the Bombers.
And Tommy Stevens comes back in. Harris out. 1st and 10 inside the Winnipeg 35. Riders. Well, the fake went the wrong way. Ouellette went to the right. And Stevens had no one to give it to anyway as he picks up more yards, gets down closer to the Winnipeg 30.
Tommy Stevens great at the quarterback sneak package. Needs a little work on the being a quarterback in, trying to hand off. So I think the ball was supposed to go to his right. He opened to the left. I better just follow the running back. Nobody's there. Good recovery. Get some yardage after the mistake by Tommy Stevens.
Remember, there's a quarterback designed to overcome something like that. It would be Stevens and his running ability and size. Well, he's forced to run again there and does pick up a few more yards. It's still going to be 3rd down and field goal situation likely coming up here. Let's see what they decide to do where it's marked. They had to get to the 24. And they're still 3 yards shy there. And as I said, it's a 5-point game. Field goal would make it 8. Stevens is still out there. Well, this is interesting. Clock is running. Try to draw him off as well. See what they decide to do. Just seconds ticking away. Yes, indeed, trying to draw the Bombers off on a 3rd down and 3.
Saskatchewan.
And then the Riders do call the timeout. And as said, with so little time left and a chance to just about put this away, really, the field goal unit will come on.
Brett Lawther hasn't had a perfect day today, so this will be obviously an important kick.
Now, we saw last week, especially in Hamilton with the Argos and Ticats, it's never over even when you think it is. When they just had just a few seconds, the Argos did, after the Ticats went ahead and then apparently won that game. So there's still 14 seconds on the clock, and this would make it still a 1-score game, but the biggest variety of 8 points for Lawther. Puts it up, puts it through, and Saskatchewan 11 seconds away from closing this out and winning the Banjo Bowl for the first time in 7 years. As fans head to the exits, not sensing another moment like the Argos had in Hamilton last week.
Well, this is a difficult thing. Very good for Corey Mason, the Saskatchewan football team, to come into a tough place to play, have all the energy and the emotion of the big win last week, over to all the way down the 2-point conversion last week to get the win after the Bombers stormed back, to come into this place, take care of business. Didn't look pretty in the first half, but they did what they do, take the football away. Okay, they won the turnover margin once again. That's going to win you football games.
How good would this feel for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, looking at sweeping the 2 games, Labor Day and the Banjo Bowl. They lost 2 of 3 to this Winnipeg team a year ago, and they also lost to them in the West Final at this very stadium last November.
And as you know, in the West, it's so, you want to make sure you're in a position. The teams that usually go to the Grey Cup are the teams that host in the West, and that's why the Bombers have been so successful the past years, hosting in so many Grey Cups, because they're in first place.
Big tackle. Tavon Campbell coming in on Vavel with 6 seconds to go, sits him down. It's across the Rider 30, and then we're down to miracle time here for Winnipeg, across the Bomber 30, I should say.
Hasn't forgotten his abilities to play special teams in the NFL. Great tackle.
It's a week after Tanner Cadwallader of Winnipeg did something similar to Mario Alford down near the end zone at the end of the first half. This time Campbell. Very definitive special teams tackle in the open field. As I said, it's miracle time now for Strevler and Winnipeg, needing a touchdown and a 2-point convert in about 5 seconds or so. Could be the last play. Terry Wilson slides down. We got zeros on the clock. What a 2 weeks for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then 1 second coming back on the clock, so time for a Hail Mary.
Long way for a Hail Mary. You're going to have to do some type of lateral play and go a long way to go. Some type of lateral play for the last play of the game. Great win for the Riders. Come in the road, put themselves in position to wrap up first place.
Final play.
Get the Calgary Stampeders chomping out, getting ready to take care of their business.
So here we go, Strevler. Running around, still on his feet, chucks it deep. See what happens here. Intercepted. Another turnover, and fitting, it's Tavon Campbell who picks up another one. His 3rd in 2 games against Winnipeg, and That seals it for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, winning the Banjo Bowl for the first time since 2018, sweeping the 2 games, Labor Day and the Banjo Bowl, for the first time as well in 7 years, and still on top regardless of what Calgary does coming up on TSN, because their best start in over 50 years continues in Saskatchewan as they improve to a record of 10-2.
Defense really stopping it. Defense stopped the run today. Only 80 yards rushing for Brady Oliveira. He made some plays. Zach Collaros, couple interceptions. Chris Strevler interceptions. This game came from protecting the football for Saskatchewan and playing great defense.
So in this day of dueling banjos, it's the visitors who finally get to celebrate. Saskatchewan gets the win. Now we'll see what Calgary does in Edmonton as we send you there to Kate in the Pen.